Welcome back to another Element of Fission's video. And in this video, I'm going to showcase my current heroic team that I'm running for a boxing club. I do want to say or give a huge thanks to my Twitch community that gave me a lot of feedbacks and ideas to create this team, as they have already created this team themselves. So, huge thanks to them. But without further ado, as you guys can see on the screen here, we are running Ninrat, Steelwing, Bookworm, Turtle Tank, and Ghost Captain, utilizing the dots for the heroic dungeons, similar to floor 10. The biggest difference is that your Bookworm needs a lot more attack power and crit damage. So to help us with that, we bring in Steelwing to bring in the attack buff. At the same time, be able to have an opportunity to land dots with his skill 1, and that's essentially how we're going to run it. Overall, you do need a speed requirement as well, at least 140, over 140 speed, so 141 or higher to go before the boss here. So as you guys can see here, 20 out of 20, fastest run is 33 seconds, on average is 36 seconds. So give or take 100%, you might have an opportunity to fail. If by chance your Steelwing or Bookworm dies, that's when the boss has an opportunity to kill you. But overall, I'm pretty happy. Probably, I would say confidently 95%. And then there are some improvements that I can talk about later on in this video. But that is the team here. Let's go ahead and just look at the overall team. But I guess before I do that, why don't we look at the actual gear restrictions and what they apply, or what I recommend. So I 100% recommend checking Swift. That should be everyone's checkbox. In terms of what second, I think it just kind of depends on where you are in the game. If you're earlier, you might want to do Fatal, Empower, and Inspire. But if you're later on, where you have a lot of Fatal gear, Power gear, and Inspire gear especially, then definitely running Bash or Revenge will be more ideal for you, especially for like PvP, Guild Wars, Arena. So right now I'm doing Swift and Bash. I'll probably switch it to Swift and Revenge later on, but that's what I recommend. In terms of the boss buffs or the dungeon buffs in general, if you're running this dot team, you don't have to worry about any of these debuffs here, or sorry, buffs to the boss. Just because we're killing it, we're one-shotting the waves, and we're using dots to kill the boss. None of this actually matters because they won't be taking any turns anyway. So it doesn't matter in terms of what you select. It will matter if you select this universal gearbox. Basically, damage dealt by conditions, continuous damage and attacks proportional to target's HP is reduced by 66%. Basically, nerfing the dots. So as of right now, I don't recommend running it unless you want to run a slower team. That I don't have right now. But once I figure out a team that will allow you to have this box checked, obviously the gear piece is awesome. It's a pay to win gears, and it's the only free to play way to actually obtain it. So ideally, honestly, to be efficient, you should be using a team that will allow you to fund this universal gear. But honestly, it's not the end of the world if you don't, because you're going to be farming so much gear anyways. But in the future, if I create a team, I will put it out there. But if you don't have it checked, don't feel too bad. A lot of players are not doing it right now. If you go looking the strategies, you'll see that a lot of players are not checking this box just because they'd rather have a 100% team that allows them to farm faster Swift and Bash gear or whatever gear they want versus having the opportunity to get a small chance of the universal gear. So don't mind that, don't feel bad. And obviously you'll want to check the Illyrium. You lose 50% luck rate, but you have a chance for summons. Who doesn't like summons? This is a gacha game. Obviously, check that box. So those are the heroic mode options for you guys. Now, in terms of the team, as you guys can see on the screen here, turn order is going to be Steelwing, Bookworm, Ninrat, um, Turtle Tank, and then Ghost Captain. I'll quickly go over the stats here. I would have to say you will ideally want a protection set. That way, it gives your Steel Wing and your Bookworm some extra cushion for when the boss does do an AoE attack. You don't want them dying. If they die, higher chance of losing. So definitely put a protection set. It doesn't have to be on Steel Wing. It could be on Turtle Tank. Actually, I will recommend putting on Turtle Tank because Turtle Tank is the easiest to build. Just stack HP, 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 honestly, with at least 141 speed. So mine right now is at 146, and then as much luck as possible. So that is my recommendation for the protection set, at least one, just to give your Steel Wing and Bookworm more cushion. But like I said, he will go. Steel Wing will go first. Once you hit that, once he has the speed requirement to go first, stack as much luck rate as possible, and then you will want as close as possible to 100% accuracy. That way, he has an opportunity to land his S1 whenever he does proc it on the boss stage. So max skilled, and then this is the skill priority options here. So just go ahead and copy this. Second member moving is going to be your Bookworm. I have her on full fatal. You'll want at least 85% crit rate because you get 15% for being elemental advantage, as much attack and crit damage as possible. Just remember, again, your Steel Wing is granting a attack buff on S3, so this is not the minimum. Just kind of play around with it. Honestly, I don't know what the minimum attack and crit damage is for with a attack buff, but this is mine right now. It works perfectly fine. Once your Bookworm is going second and it's one-shotting the waves, start replacing some of your gear pieces for some luck, so that way you can have a higher luck rate for better gear. And obviously skill ups are maxed out. If anything, the S3 is the only skill that needs to be maxed out for a 4-turn cooldown. This is the skill intelligence options or skill list here. Third member on the list, or third member of the team is going to be Ninrat. I have him on 2 sets of study for higher glancing rate decrease on the boss stage. So if you don't have this, you will glance. I guarantee you're going to glance and you're going to have a high failure rate. So definitely recommend farming heavy metal for some decent steady gear that has crit rate, speed, and accuracy. As I guess for Ninrat. In terms of stats, crit rate needs to be at least 85%. Again, you get 15% for being elemental advantage, as close as possible to 100% accuracy. And then after you have fulfilled those requirements, go ahead and chase as much luck rate as possible. It is mandatory to have S3 maxed out. You want the 4-turn cooldown. If you don't have it maxed out, it won't be available on the boss stage. So this is a requirement as well. It kind of stinks, but it's what you have to do. So if you have to, use the 4-star skill ups if you have to. But ideally, you should get pretty close to it, especially if you've been playing for the past 6 months or since the game has been released. You should be pretty close to it. If not, honestly, it's 100% worth it to use skill ups on. In terms of intelligence, this is the intelligence list. Fourth member on the team is going to be Turtle Tank. Easiest requirement: stack as much HP as possible, as much luck. Right now, I did prioritize luck just a little bit. I probably could be using HP percentage here and HP percentage here, and then putting the protection set on Turtle Tank for a higher shield. But I just didn't do it. Honestly, I streamed for 3 hours and I just put something together with the help of the Twitch community, and this works. So the only difference is that I have the protection set on my Steel Wing, which I should move it ideally to the Turtle Tank, but I don't feel like moving it right now. In terms of skill ups, this is again max skilled. He's only really there to do S3. That's all he's really there to do, to decrease the cooldown for your team members by 1. And this is the skill intelligence. Last but not least, Mr. Ghost Captain. Similar to Ninrat, you want 2 steady sets to avoid glancing, and then as much luck as possible with as close as possible to 100% accuracy. And then it will be mandatory as well to have his S3 maxed out. Again, use his 4-star skill ups if you have to. Unfortunately, this is, I guess, the way I'm doing it and the most consistent way. It needs to have 4-turn cooldown, so it's available once you're at the boss stage. This is the intelligence that you will have for Ghost Captain. So if you do all that, similar stats, over 140 speed on all of your elements, your Bookworm can one-shot. You should ideally be able to run this team. I'll run it one more time. Run it one more time for you guys just to see the full run again. And yeah, I would say It's pretty good. I would say again 95%. Things to help improve it is again move the protection set to Turtle Tank, possibly putting immunity set on Steelwing and or Bookworm so that they don't get frozen. But I guess that doesn't actually no actually no you don't actually need immunity set because Turtle Tank will cleanse the freeze anyways, as we can see here. Turtle Tank is going to cleanse that. So honestly, just the only I would say the best way to improve the team to guarantee 100% is to put to make your steering beefier and then having a bigger shield that's going to give you a higher shield to soak up the damage. Besides that, obviously, if you don't run luck on your bookworm, um, your bookworm might be able to clear it without the attack buff for when your steering does miss his dots and there's like 20% or 10% left of his HP left. If your bookworm is beefy enough, um, his her S3 should ideally be able to finish it off. If it doesn't, then that's when you will have a chance to fail. So but yeah, that's the team, guys. I would say 95%. Some improvements, either some improvements to the team if you guys want to do the improvements. But this is what I have right now for you guys. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment if you have any questions, and if you have yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.